Yeah, DMC2 sucks. There's no sugarcoating it. And I wasn't really expecting much from DMC2 because I heard a lot of bad things about it. And when I first played it back in June, I just found it to be incredibly mediocre. I wrote an incredibly short review on backlogs by just telling what I didn't like, and I didn't really say anything what I liked about it. I just said all that I disliked about it, which is most of the game. And now I went back to it, mainly because I went back to DMC 3 and 4. 3 was for the review, 4 was for the kind of seeing how the PC port was, how it was. Vanilla DMC 4 port, because I heard a lot of good things about it, so I wanted to see how it was. And with this one, I was like, it's not that long, so it's not going to hurt me. And it's not the worst game I've ever played. I've played far worse games this year. I think I'd rather play DMC2 than Sonic 06, that's for sure. It's not a high bar, I would say, but I'll just get to kind of the easier part of the game, which is the story, and it's really hard to say anything about its story, to be honest, because what story? The best way to kind of explain it is just it's a bunch of concepts strung together to create some sense of a narrative, and 2 already has such a lack of a narrative, and it feels like it makes with how it's handled, it feels like it has less of a narrative than DMC1, especially with the whole arcanas that they do. In around Mission 13's cutscene, where Montier is explaining about the whole arcana stuff, the game acts like you know about it when you don't. It's incredibly strange they try to act like you know about it when you don't. It's quite odd. And they probably could have done the easiest explanation for it in beginning of Mission 2's cutscene, where Montier is kind of going, oh, like, oh, Dante, we need you to help to get the Arcana stuff that Ari's trying to get, because if someone gets it, they could get the power of Argosax, and Argosax is pretty powerful, and we need to stop him. So we need your help, Dante. Possibly have they don't have 3 of them. They have just 1 or 2, or maybe there could be more of the Arcana here, that you're trying to constantly get to their location as soon as possible and stop Arias from getting them. Maybe he's using his as demons to go give chase to get them. I would think it'd be pretty cool. Constantly, you were having how the demons are kind of hunting you down so you don't get them in time. I think that would be a really cool idea. Imagine having to get the infested chopper or the infested tank trying to come after you because you're going after the Arcanas. I think that would be a way cooler idea to do here, but whatever. I was like, oh, so hopefully you'll help us, Dante. Something Sparta stuff, and he just goes, okay. Speaking of Dante, he's really boring. He is a flat pile of wood. That there's no doubt about that in my mind. I know why he's like that. I believe the producer of the game, Tsuyoshi Tanaka, just went, well, he didn't like Dante's personality from the first game. He didn't like it at all, and most of the dev team came to agreement that, all right, we'll tone that part down. And honestly, that was a bit of a shame because I liked that part from Dante a lot. Because the whole why his cracks he did and his past made him a pretty intriguing character to see, and especially how Dante's Awakening fussed him out, the game that came after this, and felt like a massive apology towards DMC2 because 2 has a lot of issues, which I will bring up, but that's heavily later into this video. I honestly think that Dante kind of in this game kind of feels like he feels like the kind of quiet kid you would meet in school. That, he doesn't really say anything to anyone. He kind of stays in his own lane. I sort of do the same thing too. And when you're trying to talk to him, he only says 1 or 2 things. And honestly, Dante has 1 or 2 good lines. There's a false coin for a false god, and king, yeah, here's your crown. I do think there's the few lines that make him seem cool. Um, and there's Lucia. I think Lucia's alright. She's not horrible, I think. She gets more development than Dante does, but I think she kind of suffers with not getting all that much development. Especially in her campaign and Dante's campaign. It shows heavily there. It's like, well, I think it's kind of that it makes her seem like she was gonna have more, but kind of got cut due to time constraints. And it would make sense because 2 had a pretty rushed development cycle. So it would make sense they would want to have more ideas here, but didn't have enough time to actually kind of create them. So, alright. And then there's Arius. He's the main villain here, and honestly calling him a villain is straight up insulting to other villains. Because he feels like a fucking joke. The game tries to kind of make him seem like he's a threat, but he's not. He's a clown. Like, how am I gonna take him seriously at all when in his first fight he was just standing there like a dumbass? I like his whole motive is sort of like me want more power, that you can easily dumb down his whole kind of motive. And yeah, you can do stuff for other villains, and maybe you can do something good. You can do something good with it if you can make him kind of menacing, and we're kind of like maybe he can use the demons and he kind of summon towards you and make them, and he'll speak towards you just to be a massive dickwad about it. But no, he is just a flat joke. He is a clown, more clown than the goddamn Joker. Especially with his goofy ass line delivery in like mission 17. I'm not gonna laugh. I think his whole I was gonna be the king of this world. It was just fucking goofy. I will be very honest. It was really goofy. And then I feel like, wow, you kind of suck as a villain. Yeah, it's like, how are you more one note than Mundus from DMC1, or how Mundus from the reboot? Even though I think Mundus is alright in the reboot. Anyway, moving on from the story stuff, let's talk about the gameplay. It's not great. I'll just get some few positives of the road. Actually, able to switch towards like its guns without having to go into the menu is pretty cool, and I do like how they actually add some stuff. They kind of flesh that out in later titles, and mainly in 3, how it also applies to swords as well. That's cool. There's the weird the amulet thing you can do to have like that. I don't know how to explain it. You have like several effects you can do with it. It's cool, but it would be good if it was in another game, because it is really not that cool. If for a game like this, why should I care? That's pretty much how I can explain about it. Like, yeah, it's cool, but why should I care? And then honestly, I have nothing else to say that they improved, because I think it's a massive step down compared to 1. Mainly due to everything being incredibly easier due to the adage of stun to guns. But how do I explain it? Yeah, swords are stronger. There's no, absolutely, you can use swords, and they probably be more effective. But it's way easier to just deal with them by using guns. And you can't, nothing really punishes you for using guns. It's like, go ahead and go crazy about it. Especially with double trigger, where you'll just shred a bunch of the enemy's HP with it. It's yeah, sure, go ahead, use guns, go crazy. That wouldn't be a bad idea here, if I'm being honest. I would say that, but they have 2 swords have a weird effect where you have to wait until the animation fully finishes to do another action. It's and it's super strange because I don't believe DMC1 did that. But I could be misremembering. I don't believe 1 did it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I don't believe they had that. So it's like why did you even do that? And like anyway, even past that, I still think the additions they added are super strange. Like the auto lock on, I don't get why they even added one instead of just a manual lock on. It just makes it kind of an annoyance to deal with. Hey, the mission, the kind of switch you're supposed to hit, when the building Arius was on top of, it just starts exploding. You have to get out on time, and you're trying to hit the switches, but there are enemies on top of you, kind of like above you. So the auto lock on goes onto those enemies, and you kind of have to press R2 just to kind of hit the switch, and it feels so flimsy. Like I feel like I'm not really locked on. I feel like, yeah, there's something missing from here. Obviously, the lock on isn't here. Like, there's no data. Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock Holmes. It doesn't have the lock on, because you got rid of the auto lock on. But it makes it kind of feel like something is missing from here, and I'm not sure how to explain why. It just feels like something is missing. I don't know why, but thankfully they did improve upon it in later entries, like especially 3 adding its manual lock on. Not perfect, but I still think that, yeah, cool, awesome. And there's... I really have nothing else here. Oh yeah, and there's Dante's... Oh yeah, I forgot. Dante and Lucia's weapons. I didn't really use any of them. I mainly stick with the regular weapons, or kind of using Vendetta on Dante, and using those submachine guns that he gets in one of the missions. Outside of that, I didn't really use any of them. Because like, hey, what's the point? I mean, I'm perfectly good with like the weapons I am automatically get in the beginning of the game. So who cares? So whatever. And there's watching Double Trigger, which I didn't really use all that much. I honestly didn't. I had no idea it existed until like watching a review of DMC2, and I only actually used him around my second playthrough during the first phase of Argus hacks, and that was it. Like, wow, whatever. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah. I am this camera. The camera hasn't been improved upon DMC1. I always had issues with the camera in DMC1 due to how the whole constant fixed camera constantly kept fucking me over during the fights. It kind of felt like you were fighting the camera more than you were actually fighting the bosses in the game or fighting the enemies. It's like, I wish I could control this damn camera. Like, love DMC1, but I don't like that camera. I think the camera's kind of the reason why I give it an 8 instead of like a 9 or a 10. I'm like, well, there's no doubt about that in my mind. But whatever. And there's the bike. I do wish they could have there was more with the bike, because they introduce and give it like a big entrance, and they don't do anything with it. And I only figured out, like, I believe a few months ago that they were actually going to do something with it. When DMC2 source code got leaked during the whole Capcom leak of 2020, I believe, the 2 source code got leaked, and there was like a good chunk of stuff there, like cutscenes and stuff. But there were 2 missions with Dante on the bike, with like how he had animations and stuff ready. They were there. They had animations, like with how he swung a sword at the sides and then shot at the front and back. I was like, wow. Why did these get cut? I definitely believe they were cut due to time constraints, because 2 had a very rushed development cycle. But I would really like to see them there. And it's cool that 5 added the kind of Cavalier bike thing weapon you can get in 5. I'm glad at least that the concept of a bike did come back. And also that the double trigger, the bike had a double trigger form in 2. That was cool. I would have heavily appreciated it being there. Oh yeah, I should just move on to the bosses. I don't like the bosses. I think the best way to kind of explain them is just that they're either a bore or a chore. I don't like the bosses in 2. And, like, the best example of why I don't like 2's bosses is heavily the fucking infested chopper. I don't hate. It's not like it's like a horrible, the worst boss I've ever played. It's nearing that area, but it is just a boring boss. It's like, damn. Like, the concept of like getting chased by a helicopter is a cool idea. I think that would be a cool idea, but I don't think 2 does anything good with it. Honestly, how would they really do anything amazing with it? They have a PS2 type technology, but if I think that if they weren't hampered by like PS2 technology and had the time that it could do, maybe you could use one of the 2 bike levels. Like possibly you're riding towards or some to like one direction, and then the infested chopper is chasing towards you, constantly trying to kind of make you just kind of stop you from getting to that area. So you're constantly kind of to avoid the kind of missiles and shots at you from the helicopter on your bike, and then kind of having to shoot several things to kind of take the chopper out of the air. And then once you're nearly done kind of taking him out, and then like possibly Dante could do the Kakira slide, right? And then use the ebony knife to take it out. Like shooting it multiple times until it blows up. That'd be cool. Or getting something to kind of knock it down fully from the air, and then it explodes, and then you just ride off in your bike to the location you're trying to get to without any interruptions. I think it would be a cool idea. It probably would dwell with the whole this thing is just hype moments and aura thing, but still, it'd be cool as shit. This series is entirely hype moments and aura. Go ham with it. But, alright. Yeah, and they're like moving past like how we wanted them to do the whole infested chopper fight. There's another boss called Trismagia, which suffers with the same issue the infested chopper does, which is just you're kind of just shooting your way until the boss just dies. Like, it's like how the boss's 3 faces kind of go invisible, and only one can be hit. But the auto lock on, fuck the auto lock on, I hate you. And plus, I think it would have to massively overhaul the entire boss, so I don't think it works as a whole. Because that is a really boring ass boss. Yeah, it'd probably be good for a cinema, but no. That would be a terrible thing for a hack and slash game. Because who would want to wait that long so you can actually hit it? Or you constantly have to use a supporting tool, i.e. the guns, as like a main source of dealing damage. It's boring. Like, yeah, no, not fun. And my biggest question of all time, why the fuck is Phantom here? The giant spider thing. I have no idea. I have no clue why he's here. He should not be here, because he died in DMC1. So why is he here? It's super odd that he's just here. It just reminds me of, well, this.
I was hoping for Kenobi. Why are you here?
Architect's first face is kind of lame. That's not a hard thing to say, because he's just kind of an amalgamation of all the bosses you've been fighting. And whatever. I believe Griffin is there. It's like, why are you here? You died in DMC1. You're not even here in DMC2. One of your attacks is literally just straight up stolen by one of the enemies. Why the fuck should I care? I can't find a reason to genuinely care. But at least the second phase is not horrible. It's alright. I have no strong opinion on it. Like the design, but straight up don't care enough for it. The only thing I thought of him just dying was just the whole fucking glass shattering thing of that kid just the bricks and they just gonna be shattering. So there was that, I suppose. um, I'll just mention the OST now, and the OST here is actually not half bad. I see with like songs like Dance with Devils, Shoot the Works, Rings of Rebellion, and Ragnarok are pretty good songs. I do enjoy. Yeah, they're good. I'd say like the other boss themes are decent as well. Oh, I listen to them, like, yeah, this isn't half bad. I think these are good songs, just kind of given to pretty shitty bosses. But whatever. And speaking of, yeah, I forgot to mention Lucia's campaign while mentioning the OST. It's alright. It's only slightly better than Dante's, kind of just because it's shorter. And Arius is like second fight there. Like you face Arius again and stuff on the boss in Lucia's campaign. I didn't give a fuck. He was pretty easy. I generally don't understand. What was the intention of that boss? Wow. What is this boss? Like, why should I care? That's the kind of a way to explain that. Why should I care? Arius was a nothing burger villain who got shot in the end. And I can't believe he died to the gun violence. But still, I don't care enough for him. It's like, whatever. But I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I finished Lucia's campaign a lot quicker than Dante's both times because there's less of content here, and most of her stuff is kind of either borrowed from Dante's campaign or it's slight or just stuff is here. And Tatebasu, one of the bosses. Fuck Tatebasu. I'll really figure out that fucking fish existed from when that video where Dante and Virgil went fishing. Like, fuck that bitch. I hate him. But anyway, so I'm glad at least DMC2 is OSTs and horrid. That's good. While I don't like this game, I'm not gonna act like this is like the whole. Ugh, I think all of the people who made this fucking are just complete fucking horrible beings. I hope they all die in a fire, and god damn it, I hate all of them. And I hope they get put out of all their jobs. What? Even though a lot of DMC2's issues aren't really their fault. I mean, from looking at development, a lot of things went kind of south, or just straight up, yeah, that should not have happened. Like, with getting people who aren't really well acquainted with games like Devil May Cry, a lack of direction and focus, the original director quitting, Itsuno having to kind of get the product ready around 6 months. Yeah, a lot of stuff was straight up just not going to work with DMC. Like, yeah, no. Well, at least the game, it didn't kill the series. I do feel bad for the amount of crunch that Itsuno and the others had to deal with, kind of to just get the game out. But at least the game didn't get canned, so like all their work would be just straight up for nothing. And I believe DMC2 sold around like 1.9 million copies, and not as much as the first game. I believe sold like around like 2.1 million copies, and it kind of caused like Itsuno to make DMC3 as kind of an apology. It's like hey, DMC2, ignore that. Look at Dante in the third game. Woohoo! He's really cool. This is the Dante you want, right? Right? And a lot of the stuff you want for the first game is back and fully fleshed out. Hurrah! It's like, yeah, great job. It's like, I love DMC3 a lot. So like, yeah, cool. It does, like, 2 of the 3 is like a massive fucking course correction. Imagine making like generally the worst game in the entire series and creating one of the best games in the series. That is the fucking massive turnaround. But yeah, makes sense. A lot of its stuff wasn't really was only involved in DMC2 around like 6 months in. It's like, nah. But just to close this off, yeah, DMC2 is kind of a mediocre game. I do believe it has a lot of good ideas that could really be good if it gets like some sense of like a kind of like a redo, made like a remake. Like if it does get a remake, I'll be pretty happy if it does improve upon all of its issues and actually fully fleshes out everything that 2 wanted to do. It's like, yeah, I think that'd be cool. I'm not. Maybe it would have a different director than Itsuno, because Itsuno left Capcom around like last year. So hopefully it'll be. Hopefully, if they do one, it'll be good. But I don't think it's hard to do because 2 is already incredibly mediocre. So whatever. I won't act like this game was actually really good if you think about the potential. What am I, a Sonic 06 fan? I'm not one of them. I don't like 06. And like, yeah, there's a lot of potential here. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But I don't think you should really be using its potential to kind of show that, yeah, this game is really good if you just think about the potential. That's a really stupid way to think about stuff. You can do this about essentially any game in existence. Think about the potential, like any bad game's potential, and you can probably say like, yeah, it's actually really good if you think about its potential. I'm not gonna do that. No, this game kind of blows chunks, and yeah, it has good ideas, but that doesn't make it a good game. It's just that it just makes it a kind of a, yeah, it sucks. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that in my mind. But I'm not gonna act like it is a good game. It's terrible. But what am I supposed to do about it? 2's damage is kind of like 2 as a game is already kind of one and done. So like thankfully it didn't appear like kind of like repeat again. Yes, I like the reboot. Kiss my ass. I don't care. I like the reboot. But yeah, I'm glad at least it didn't repeat that again, even with the more controversial entries. I see more people kind of thinking more negatively against like reboot. Well, not really as negatively as 2, because I still see some praise for the reboot, but still people say like, yeah, it is, yeah, good game, but still kind of a terrible DMC game. But let me just get it over. I'm just end this now. 2 sucks. Go play DMC 3 or 5. I don't know. Go play Sonic X Shadow Generations, I suppose. The game is good, and hopefully, and unrelated, but hopefully Persona 4 Revival is good. Bye-bye.